Meta has been on a huge ban/restriction streak recently when it comes to different underground blogs and pages. For some reason, a lot of them get flagged for copyright, even though a huge majority of them are news sources. They get banned from commenting, posting stories, or get banned from Instagram altogether. So I feel like there couldn't be a better time to acknowledge some underground pages that I personally really like and keep up with. And I don't think this is really like a let me put you on video, because a lot of these pages are pretty big. I just wanted to acknowledge the hard work that they have done over the years to keep me as a fan entertained, as well as give some credit for their work, because a lot of them have been at this for years. But before I begin this video, I just want to give credit where it's due. This video has been inspired by Legalize Eating Pigeons on Instagram. Go check out their post. They highlighted some pages there as well. But now let's get into some of my favorite underground rap pages / blogs. Starting with Our Generation Music. And OGM was one of the first blogs I've interacted with as a new underground listener. First time I've ever interacted with their content was the original Hakeem Ken Carson interview, back when Ken Carson still had bleached hair and was still Teen X. At the time, you know, I was a newer listener, and a lot of the people they covered were also newer artists, so it felt like the right place, right time, and I really enjoy their content. Then Hakeem ended up going to some of the shows and covering those from behind the scenes. It was a cool time to be around. At the time, I ended up binging all the other interviews they've done, and I ended up following their Instagram and keeping up with a lot of the news from them as the years went by. But their interview lineup is genuinely legendary. Like, they have the early Che interview when he was still Che Romani, the Lone one, they have the Can interview. They have a really solid lineup of content under their belt. And same goes for their Instagram. Like, they used to cover a lot of stuff. And I said used to because at the moment of recording this video, OGM is banned from Instagram. The page is no longer up anymore, and I don't know what's next for them. They do now also have a series called Well under their brand, hosted by Mwell, and that format is also great. Mwell is a great host. Super casual, silly, chill interviews with the upcoming talent. People like Osama Sun and Jane Remover. Edward Skeletrix was on. That was a crazy interview. So it's fair to say that OGM is one of the best when it comes to underground rap interviews. So it's free OGM over here. Instagram lock in, please. Next up, we got 42 Daily, a page ran by 42 CEO, probably one of the fastest news out there. Like, 42 Daily posts about things literally as soon as they happen. They're also constantly one of the first to break the news, and 42 is on top of his game, for real. I would say 42 Daily is like a part of like a bigger network, you know, because as we know, 42 CEO also streams, where he reviews new music, reacts to shows, has different artists on his stream, different producers and stuff. Also recently started a collectibles page where he posts all his concert memorabilia. But if we focus specifically on 42 Daily, I have to know that whenever I want to know what new music is coming out, I usually go there, because they have this thing called a new music night that highlights all the drops that are going to happen the upcoming Friday. They also have a series called Aura Charts, where they rank people in a top 10 list based on their activity this week to kind of measure their popularity in like a silly way. But to be honest, I don't really keep up with those as much. So yeah, 42 Daily is another really great blog when it comes to news, and shout out 42. Next page is Kids Take Over. Kids Take Over is a page ran by a guy named Arshawn. First time I've ever interacted with their content was also through their interviews, but that's kind of the main thing that they do. Some of their standout interviews, in my opinion, are their early Homicide Gang interview, the Laser Dim interview, the Mario Judah interview. Mitch Mode's interview was like extremely motivational. Jane Remover, Nate Sip, like they have a really good lineup of interviews as well. And one thing that stands out to me about this interview is Arshawn as a host is a very chill, laid back host. Like, he's still asking the questions that we all want to know, but not in like a doing too much way. And the conversations feel pretty casual, pretty chill, pretty relaxed. And when it comes to them thinking about who to interview, they have a really good eye for new talent. Recently, they had a fantastic interview with Apollo Red as well. And their presence on Instagram is a lot less of like a news blog and more of like interview centered. A lot of their posts are like clips from the interviews that are out now, and occasionally they'll upload like a little statistics thing or like a few posts here and there, but I would say their main content is focused around interviews. But I keep up with them on Instagram as well, because I obviously want to know when the new interviews come out and stuff like that. This next page is called Sadprt, and they're a very unique blog in a sense of like how they are ran, because it's ran by 3 people: Floodgate, Tino Infinity, and Jack Tellier. I really hope I said the names right. I'm sorry if I didn't. I'm low-key like really bad with names, so. But each of the owners have an assigned color, and when they post something, the color of the border of the post signifies who made the post. For example, if it has a red border, then it was Floodgate, and so on and so forth. Besides covering the news that are happening, they also quite frequently cover different articles that come out about the underground. And they also have this series called Hot Takes, where they discuss hot takes. Mind-blowing, isn't it? But it's actually really interesting because they'll throw out a hot take over there and then the author will usually talk about why they agree or disagree with it, and then as a community they kind of talk about it. And that's another thing about Sadprt. They're definitely more of like a stronger community building page. Like, besides covering news and doing all the other posting, they've also fostered a really solid community. They're constantly interacting with their followers and doing different community related things. One of the things they did recently that I actually really liked is they had people send in a photo of their laptop, you know, with like different stickers and whatever they got going on, and they did like a cool ass collage of all of them, and I think that's pretty cool. They also cover any conversations held in the community when it comes to new drops, artists, news, and etc. Now this next one is absolutely legendary. Hyperpop Daily. If you know even a little bit about the underground, you know about Hyperpop Daily. It is impossible to not know about Hyperpop Daily. Like, speaking of really strong communities, Hyperpop Daily is one of those communities. First things first, we don't know who exactly runs the page. They've been relatively anonymous about it. We do know that Sebi was the one that started it, but then he ended up focusing on his music career and decided to pass the page along to other owners. But the idea of like a semi-anonymous owner has been acknowledged and played along with so many times, and it'll probably happen again. They did an interview with Kids Take Over, one of the pages I mentioned earlier, and you know, they were obviously wearing like an anonymous suit or whatever. They did a little interview just to find out that it wasn't actually the real owner of Hyperpop Daily. It was literally just someone speaking on their behalf. Hyperpop Daily covers news, covers different memes, and everything else that's kind of related to the underground scene. But they are known for taking things not as seriously. For example, 30-year-old Ken Carson pays homage to Santa. Like, what are we talking about, bro? And I love that. That's what I love about Hyperpop Daily. They're just doing their own thing. They also do have a lot of really cool interviews under their belt as well. For example, the Fake Mink interview, Lucy Bedrock, Diddy Bop. They did also recently host a huge basketball tournament with a bunch of rappers and different influencers participating in it, all in one place. So it's safe to say that they're a very integral part of the underground scene, as well as this next page called Underground Sound. This is absolutely a page that everybody literally knows when it comes to the underground scene, and I personally really love this page. We did just talk about the basketball tournament, and they were one of the people that were running it with Hyperpop Daily together. They do also host quite a bit of shows, but also when it comes to their Instagram, they're always one of the first to break the news in as well. When it comes to their overall impact, they have been extremely active for years. And besides the tournaments, besides the shows, they also did a huge underground sound cypher earlier this year. And you might have heard of it. It had artists like Pretty Fun, Rocket, and it also had that pretty viral Benji Bluebill's verse. That verse to this day is still so tough. But yeah, if you like the underground, you have definitely gotten the news from them at some point. They're one of the biggest to ever do it. They have been absolutely crushing. As the scene has been growing, they have been growing together with the scene. They did also recently start a separate page for the UK underground. And they also have a separate page for the archive posts that didn't get approved for the main page. So it's safe to say they're on top of their game. Next up, Downtime. Downtime is definitely a newer page when it comes to the underground, but they have this really cool series that I really like called No Stylist, where they take an underground rap adjacent influencer and take them shopping for clothes. And as they do that, they kind of just ask them about their life, how they got to where they got to, and pick their brain a little bit on when it comes to how they style themselves, which, you know, as someone who's really into clothes, I really like. Another series that I like is called Track Talk, where they have different producers and they break down how they make their beats, what their workflow is like, how they made certain beats, and they're talking about their process and life in general. It's always a really good insight. They did a little short film with 42 CEO not that long ago, and I don't know, I'm excited to watch them grow as time goes by. They're doing pretty good for themselves as is, but we'll see what happens next. When it comes to their Instagram, they're a lot like Kids Take Over in the sense of their Instagram just like covering their long form content and the interviews and short film highlights and whatever it might be. They're still a really cool brand. Honorable mention, Youngstarbeam. This page has been around for so long, and I wish they got more credit for what they do because they consistently spotlight the funniest moments in the underground. Youngstarbeam is not as much of a news source as it is like a spotlight on funny feedback to the things that are happening. It's kind of like a meme page that is pretty centered around the underground right now. All the funny tweets, all the corny TikToks, whatever it might be that is underground adjacent is usually making it on Youngstarbeam. Like, I'll see a funny tweet and then I'll open Instagram and Youngstarbeam is on it, and those are uploaded so quick. So yeah, their selection of like the goofiest replies and comments comments and whatever are always pretty funny, and I appreciate whoever's running the account. I'm pretty sure they're anonymous. I've been following them for a little bit and I haven't really heard any talk about who the person behind the account is, so I don't really know exactly who it is. But yeah, I've been following them for a bit now and they've managed to stay on top of their game and tapped in for a really long time. And yeah, shout out yungstarbeam. Love their page as well. Anyways, that is some of the blogs that I really like to keep up with. If you guys have any blogs you like that haven't been mentioned in this video, please put them in the comments below. I'd love to support and show love to all the other pages as well. And Meta, lock the hell in. Please stop restricting underground accounts and free OGM for sure. Anyways, that was it for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.